Okay, so those are some trading ideas, but let's talk about what the investment strategy should be from here on. Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking joins in, and Amit Gupta of ICICI Direct also joins in to give us some trading ideas. Gentlemen, morning to both of you. Mayuresh, I want to start off with you. We've seen a significant sell-off now in the markets, and this could perhaps be the best opportunity for those retail investors who missed out on the rally that we've seen in the last many months. Do you think now is the time to go ahead and put that lump sum, or would you wait for lower levels because this market is giving you a sign of that?
Morning, Sonia. I think clearly the global cues, the Chinese PMI data which has come through, the weakness in the markets would persist for some length of time. And even on the domestic side of things, our take is the markets have largely factored in a 25 pips rate cut in the policy expected to come through in the coming week. What happens with Bihar elections is another particular markets might look up to in October. But clearly for a structural re-rating of the Indian markets, the earnings need to improve, which again the markets have factored that Q2 are expected to be a weak set of numbers expected to come through. And again, I think the whole theme is based on how the revival might happen in the capex and the investment cycle. So any delays on that front and delays in corporate earnings getting pushed back to the first half of FY17, that might actually push the markets into a range, a broader range that is. So our own take is that the markets might stay in a range between 7,500, 8,100, 8,200 on the Nifty. But clearly I think at lower levels and systematically over the next 2 to 3 months, because a lot of volatility might persist into the markets, a systematic way of entering selective stocks might be the best way so that it reduces your impact cost and it also gives you better entry points if the market correct from the current levels.
You're saying 7,500 will hold?
Looks like Lata at this point of time, unless something goes long awfully on the global front. So I think 700 should hold in that scenario.
Okay, actually I had the same question for Amit Gupta, but then we have to head into a break. We'll come back and ask you that question, Amit. Nayesh, do stay with us. Okay, let's just pull up that SGX Nifty number. It's still indicating a down tick. We have to deduct about 20-30 points for the actual opening, so we might probably legitimately open around that 7725 mark, which will still be a fairly deep cut from yesterday's levels, almost 80 points lower. Remember, the Nifty did not close at 7812. It closed probably lower than 7800. Let's see how the tick numbers coming in. It's not all that bad actually. It's just about a 0.5% tick, but we shouldn't get fooled by these numbers. They tend to be a little wavered. Let's watch out for the rupee. It closed at 65.87 if I'm not mistaken. It was a weak day for the rupee as well, but nothing as weak as it has been for other currencies and other risk assets. 65.87, expect the 66 level could be taken today. It was expected to open weaker. We have to watch out for that number. At the moment the Sensex is actually showing a green tick, so really the pre-opening rates are extremely wavered. Yes, 66 has been taken. The dollar costs a little more than 66, 66.02 at this point in time. Technically speaking, it's only 15 pice more expensive for the rupee, but remember it's an extremely strong asset class and need not reflect the equities at all, which will in all probability open much more weaker. We should not take the Sensex plus 100 at all. Let's wait for those rates to settle down and go ahead with somebody who is now in the news.
Yes, Sterlite. In fact, Sterlite Technologies, that stock should come up for you. Let's see how it's doing in pre-opening. The company has just made an acquisition. It's acquired a global software company called Elite Core Technology. Anand Agarwal, the CEO of Sterlite Technologies, joins us on the phone line from Ahmedabad to talk about that. Anand, good morning. The value of this deal is 180 odd crores. Can you tell us how will you fund this acquisition?
Good morning, Sonia. Hi. The acquisition will be funded essentially with internal cash reserves that we have in Sterlite Technologies' balance sheet. And what we are acquiring is essentially a debt-free company with cash on its reserves as well. So, and this 180 crores essentially will be funded through the cash reserves on our balance sheet.
Okay. Can you tell us what this acquisition means? What does this company do and how does it synergize with you?
Sure, Lata. Essentially, this company is in telecom products, telecom software products which do operation support and billing support for customers for telcos. And Sterlite essentially has been doing optical products, optical fibers, and selling to the same telcos these products as well as system integration. So this extends our value chain, this extends our offering to the same suite of global customers. And together we are pretty complementary in terms of our offerings and in terms of the customer base. So we believe it's going to be a great combination.
What are the cash reserves that Sterlite Technology is sitting on currently?
We had cash reserves of about 150 or 160 crores. So that will be used for this acquisition.
All right.
Okay. What will this do to your revenues in the first year, say in the remaining part? You have a good half a year of the current year itself. What can it do to your numbers?
On the overall company, this should increase revenue by 5-6%, but we are demerging the telecom business. It should happen by the end of this year. So on the telecom business on its own, it should increase revenues by about 10%.
And EBITDA?
EBITDA also, it should grow by 6-7%.
So when will this particular deal become EPS accretive for you? Will it be immediately?
It will be from FY17.
From FY17.
Okay. So and FY17, what may be the EBITDA revenue accretions? We haven't looked at that number exactly, but the company has been growing pretty rapidly at CAGR of close to 20-25%, and the profitability has been also growing up year on year. Okay.
So we believe the combined would continue to grow at similar pace.
Fair point. Thank you very much for joining us, Anand, with all those details. There's news coming in on SKS as well on the exchanges that it has slashed its interest rate by 1.25%, and now the going rate for them, lending rate, is 20.75. My suspicion is that this is also because of competition. There are a lot of Paytm kind of guys who have now come in the market, especially one, if I'm not mistaken, Vote for Cash. They are able to assess your credit worthiness merely by looking at your social data.
Okay.
That is, you know, your Facebook data, or if you are not a Facebook person, just by looking at your mobile data. If you are a borrower, you go to them and then you go to the app and they tell you to, can we access your mobile phone? And going by your mobile data, they assess whether you will give self-respect more importance than money.
I'm glad they don't look at the Facebook data then.
No, and you know what is their default rate? Their NPL is 1.8%,
okay.
And they only go with social data, that their algorithm is able to assess that. So they are giving loans at 20%. And I was expecting that many microfinance companies will have to bring down their rates, because if this is one competition, and that is a Hyderabad-based company, not the, I mean, when you're giving loans on the net, whether you're Hyderabad or whether you're, it is Cyberabad, really, you know, you're in cyberspace. But there is competition coming, so this could be big to answer to this kind of competition. It could also be because SKS is getting cheaper money from banks as well. But that's the rate, the new rates for SKS. I guess we will eventually get to know whether it impacts their margins or not. It may not. We'll try and touch base with the company to check out what the impact on the margins may be. But back to Mayuresh and Amit. Amit, tell us your Nifty strategy. Fresh shots.
See, till expiry, yes. I don't see any major recovery now in the market, because the volume weighted average price of this series was around 78, 20, 30 levels, and Nifty has come back to those levels, in fact lower than that. So that means the shorts which were formed during the series, they have come back to their major shorting area, in fact lower than that. So there is no point of these shorts getting closed now towards expiry. In fact, we have already seen the rollover of these short positions into the next month, because the roll spread has continuously remained under pressure. From 42 it has come down to 32, so that shows the rollover of the short positions into the next month. So the kind of scenario we are in, I mean, we have been range bound within 75 to 8100. I think this kind of range bound scenario may continue, and you will keep on seeing such kind of bouts of selling pressure that emerged yesterday. Now particularly if you look at yesterday's session in the morning, we saw that the peculiar nature of Nifty futures, that it remained in discount for the most part of the series. That was seen in yesterday's morning session also. It was 5 to 6 rupees of discount when Nifty was at 8,000, and before that on 19th September and 21st September we saw that FIIs, they bought 4,800 crores in index options, particularly 7,900 put option, and in index future they had sold around 2,000 crores. So once we are below 7,900 now, this expiry should be below 7,900, and it could be at VWAP of 78 or it may be lower. Now looking at this, I think one should look at certain stocks which were outperforming, but they were losing out their sheen now, and possibly they may be the shorting candidates in this particular series.
Okay.
All right. Well, the pre-opening levels have settled down about almost 1%, and from the broader market, some of these, casualties from yesterday continue to move lower. Motherson Sumi is one of them. That stock is down about 4% in pre-opening. Mayuresh, what do you do with a stock like Motherson now?
So clearly, Sonia, I think as we discussed earlier as well, we'll wait for declines because you're looking at new plants coming up in the US. You've seen some amount of margin pressure come through on their SMR and SMP business. And though the structural side of the story in terms of their order books remains intact, clearly I think what would happen with Volkswagen, and if the spillover happens to Europe, they are going to take a huge hit in terms of how their EPS will pan out, specifically in the case over the next 2 years. Having said that, I think the domestic business itself is also facing a huge amount of issues. Fallen copper prices, you're seeing discounting levels actually go up, and the depreciating rupee probably also is going to hit line by line items on the consolidated P&L as well. So clearly I think would wait for further declines on the stock. The stock has given a huge outperformance, Sonia, over the last 2 years. So clearly would wait for declines, wait for how the numbers pan out in the quarter to come, and then we'll probably take a call in terms of how valuations will appear if the news actually comes true and it spills over to Europe over the next few months. If it doesn't, I think the US markets just account for 10%. But again, I think we'll wait for results to come through before we take a call on the stock.
Okay, we are getting close to the opening bell. So Amit, quickly, your surprisingly your sells are the two strong stocks in the Nifty, Asian Paints and Bosch.
Yeah, Lata, because as I mentioned, the stocks which have been outperforming so far but losing out now just because of the long liquidation, they can be the shorting candidates for this expiry. Now particularly Asian Paints, because the people were quite long in this particular stock. Not only Asian Paints, they were long in Pidilite also, because they were the major beneficiaries of the lower crude prices, and because of this the open interest is very huge. In fact, in the current series almost 88% of open interest is still left in Asian Paints, and the stock has come down. If you look at 75-40 levels of Nifty, it was at around 820 the price was, and now it is below that price, it is 804. So you can see how it has started underperforming the market. So it is possible it can move towards 750 just on this behalf of long liquidation of positions. So already 20-25% of closure of these positions we have seen, and hence it is possible towards expiry this may be a shorting candidate. Now another one is the Bosch, because we have seen the problems coming with the Motherson Sumi, and if you see the reversal in the market from 75 to 8,000, there was no move in Bosch at all. It remained around 22,000, and with such an outperforming stock, you should not, I mean, you don't expect that with the market it is not moving, and when the market is coming down, it is possible the stock may also drift downwards. It may come down, I think, towards 19,500 also. So in this stock also we have seen around 18-20% of long liquidation already. So this may be another one for the shorting opportunity.
Okay, and very quickly you will have to tell us your buy on Apollo Hospital and Wipro.
See, very clearly these are the defensives. Apollo Hospital yesterday also it closed positive, but it's not because it closed positive yesterday we are long in the stock. We have been long for quite some time, because we saw that how it remained quite resilient when the market was coming down from 81 to 75 before, and again we have seen the liquidation, I mean the leverage is very low. That is the major benefit for the stock. If you look at the OI, the open interest, it is at multi-month low, and that is why the falls in the market are not affecting this particular stock.
Okay.
The delivery buying which happened at 1300, that was very much there, and that is why the support again and again is provided to the stock. I think 1480, 1490, these levels can be achieved in Apollo Hospital. And Wipro, as you mentioned, the technology space has started little bit performing yesterday, and we saw that Wipro after a long time it has closed above 580 on a weekly basis, and this is the second week now consecutive. So if it is able to close above 580 this week also, I think it is heading towards 630, 640 levels.
All right, thank you for very much. Mayuresh, not much time. Tell us quickly, what will you buy in the dips? You said that you should be using the dips to buy.
So clearly, Lata, I think our bias again stays with the larger private sector banks. We would like to period of time. Selected pharma names like Sun and Aurobindo appear relatively better placed within the larger pharma universe. And our earnings will pan out over the next 2 years. Select IT companies like Infosys and NBFCs like an LIC Housing Finance, where our belief is that the cost of funds is 9.38%, where the whole paradigm shift to the wholesale borrowing and bonds, I think has benefited largely to the stock. The growth has remained strong at 18% in terms of retail advances. The asset quality has remained strong, and on a price to book at 2 times looks relatively better placed. So again, I think selective stocks that we like across sectors at this point of time.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Mayuresh, and giving us your views. We have about 2 more minutes to go before the markets open. So let's take a look at what our bullseye participants have chosen for the trading day.